Hi guys and girls, and welcome back to Xenus Minis. My name is Greg and this is episode 4 of Build and Paint, the series that answers all of your hobby questions like what is a sub-assembly? Are there any benefits to using them? Now that there are both male and female commissars, is there a gender pay gap in the grim dark future? And will Robert Gulliman and his Primaris ever make the Imperium great again? We're getting a bit controversial on today's show, and sub-assemblies are a bit controversial. Some people love them, other people hate them. So what are the upsides and downsides of using sub-assemblies? So on one side of the fence, sub-assemblies give you the freedom to paint individual components separately, allowing you to get all those details which may be a bit difficult to reach or otherwise obscured. On the opposite side of the fence, you could argue that assembling after painting means there's gonna be gaps left between components which you can't go back and fill with green stuff, and potentially you may damage the paint job as you glue in the model together. Plus, if those details are that hidden, who's going to see them anyway? So personally, I try to go for somewhere in the middle. I will assemble part of the model but still leave the key components separately to paint as sub-assemblies. So if you want a better idea of what that looks like, please check out my previous video where I do exactly that. So on that note, let's get stuck into the footage and I'll show you how to set up sub-assemblies. So to kick things off with sub-assemblies, you're going to want to pick a point on the model to attach the paper clips. So looking at the legs here, you're going to want to go for an area that will be supported, that's not going to bend or snap off. So actually the top bit here is probably going to be the best part to drill into. So what we're going to do is make a small hole here with the scalpel. And this is more sort of just a guide hole for the drill. And then you're going to want to take the hand drill, and in that notch then just start drilling a hole. So you don't want this to be too big, you just want the paper clip to be able to fit in there snugly. And you just want to keep drilling. Once you get to a certain depth then, you don't want to go all the way through, otherwise it'll come out the bottom there. But you want to take your scalpel and just widen it a little. And once that's done, you can have a look at inserting a paper clip. So now that we've got the paper clip, you just want to unfold it. And you just want to check to see if it fits. So as you can see there, it fits in quite snugly, and that's great. So what we can do now is come back and glue that in later. So next we're going to repeat the same process with the head, and the best part to attach the paper clip is in the bottom here. So you just want to make a notch here and twist, and it's pretty much the same process now in every other piece within the sub-assembly. You want to get your drill, it's a little fiddly here, and you just want to keep twisting away. So once you're done here, you want to check to see if the paper clip fits. I don't think we need to widen this one up actually, and yeah, it fits in quite snugly there, so we're good to go with the head. So for the plasma caliver, we can either go in at the hand here, which I sometimes do with Space Marines, or you can go in at the arm here. And because the hand, if you can see here, is quite small, we probably don't want to go in there. So actually the best bet is to go into the shoulder here. So again, take the scalpel, make the notch, and then we're going to want to start drilling again. And again, you don't want to go in too far. So once you're done there, see we've got the hole, and we're going to check with the paper clip. Yep, great, so that fits, and we're all done with the plasma caliver. So next up we've got the smaller arm, and we're going to be making that insertion in exactly the same place as we did with the other arm. So we're going to make our notch, and then get a hand drill, and this one can be tricky because it is a smaller part. So you want to be careful when you drill in here that you don't slip and stab yourself. That's happened quite a lot with me. End up putting a bit too much force in and it slips out and just goes straight through your finger. So we're just going to keep drilling here. So once you feel like you've gone deep enough, you're going to want to check with the paper clips. This isn't just to check the diameter of the hole, but also that it's deep enough as well. So you don't want it to be too shallow, as it might snap off while you're painting it. So you want to make sure the depth is correct, and that is looking good. Now we've got the backpack, so this is going to be an easy one, and we can go straight into the notch that's already there. So we know 100% that we're not going to be able to see this because it's going to be slotting into the back of the Ranger. So again, I want to make a notch there, and then start drilling. And this is quite a shallow one, but luckily we've got that extra bit of the backpack on there in case we go a bit too deep. So we're just going to keep drilling. What's actually happened here is I've gone through the first bit of the backpack and I've actually started drilling into the extra bit that's glued on there. So that's fine. We're not going to be able to see that, but it means that that hole is going to be deep enough for the paper clip. So let's check that. And there we go. So that's in there nice and snugly. So lastly, we've got the Ranger's body, and it might make sense to go in through the bottom here. But what will happen then is that the paper clip will be running this way, which might make it difficult to get the brush into that area. Not like you're going to see the back of the cape, but just so you've got full access to the entire part of the model, we're going through the head bit here. So you're not going to see that because the head's going to slot in on there, and that'll give you full access to the robes and the other parts of the model. So you want to make your notch. Oop, slipped out there. And then you're going to want to come in with your drill again and just keep drilling. And once that's deep enough, you want to just check again with the paper clip, and we're all good there. So that is our last component, and now we're ready to glue in the paper clips. So now we're ready to glue in those paper clips, and I'm not going to bore you with how to glue in paper clips into the holes. I'm pretty sure you're all competent enough to do that, but I will show you how positioning the paper clip can affect how the model gets sprayed and how it gets painted. So for the head, we've opted for a straight position or vertical position on the paper clip, and you can see when we put that in here that it gives us full 360 access to the head when it comes to painting it. So all we need to do now is to super glue that in. So we're using super glue, not plastic glue, because obviously the plastic is not going to stick to the metal if we do use the plastic glue, and we only need to use a small drop into that hole and make sure it doesn't spill over to the rest of the model. And then you just want to take your paper clip and pop it in there and wait for it to dry, and that is it. So for the plasma caliver, we're opting for more of a horizontal position on the paper clip, and this will give us access then to the entirety of the component when we're spraying it. So if you look at it here, and as we rotate around, we'll be able to spray the entirety of that, and then it also gives us a good horizontal position to work with when we're painting it. So again, to do this then, we just need to take a small amount of super glue, and once again pop that in there. And I've got a bit too much glue there, so overspilled small amounts. You just get a bit of old tissue paper and soak that up, and then you can put in the paper clip. And there you go, that one is ready for spraying. Now that your components have all been skewered with paper clips, it is time for the last step, and that's just to tack it to the top of a old paint pot or cork, anything you can use to twist and turn the model as you're painting it or as you're spraying it, so that you're not handling the components directly themselves. So all you need is one of these and a bit of Blu-Tac, and then you just want to tack the paper clip to the top of the paint pot.
go. So as you can see, let's try and get the focus there. As you can see then, it just gives you a bit of room to work with when you spray in and when you're painting that individual component, and you just want to repeat the process for the others there. So for the head here, again, you just want to tack it on. Job done. And for the plasma caliver again, and these are some very old paint pots, if you can see the shape on this one. I think this was like a blood red or something like that it was, I'm not too sure, but there we go. And that is all done as well. So you just want to do the same for all the components, and then you're ready to start spraying.
Guys, that's the end of today's show. Really hope you've enjoyed. If you've liked what you've seen, drop me a like, drop me a subscribe, leave a comment, let me know how I'm doing. I respond to every single one. And remember that all subscribers, both new and old, are in with a chance of winning a brand new box of Skitarii Rangers when the series comes to an end. So next week, we're going to be looking at undercoating our models, getting them ready to paint. So until then, take care, and we'll see you next time.